hacking begins, the journey starts with enumeration. This stage is often overlooked by beginners, but in reality, it's the most critical part of the process. Enumeration is not just about scanning systems, it's about understanding the full landscape of a network. The true power of Nmap lies not in simply running commands, but in interpreting the results effectively. In this video, we'll go far beyond the basics to explore how Nmap enables ethical hackers to uncover open doors, misconfigured services, and overlooked weaknesses, all before a single exploit is launched. Because, ultimately, if you can't find your target, you'll never break into it. Imagine you're connected to a network using various services like email, web browsing, or file sharing. Naturally, two questions arise. First, how can we discover other devices that are also connected to this network or even other networks? Second, how can we identify which services, such as SSH or web servers, are running on these devices? While you could attempt to answer these questions manually by scanning IP addresses using tools like ping or ARP-scan, this approach has severe limitations. For example, ping won't be useful if a firewall blocks ICMP packets, and ARP-scan only works on the same local network, meaning it's useless for scanning remote targets. This kind of manual scanning can waste an incredible amount of time and still not yield reliable results. What we need is a flexible, advanced tool that can adapt to multiple scanning scenarios. That tool is Nmap. Nmap, short for Network Mapper, is an open-source network analysis and security auditing tool written in C, C++, Python, and Lua. It is specifically designed to scan networks and identify available hosts, services, applications, and even their versions, using raw packets. It can also determine the operating systems and their versions running on the target hosts. In addition to these powerful capabilities, Nmap can detect if firewalls, intrusion detection systems, or packet filters are interfering with network activity. This makes Nmap not just a tool but an essential companion for any network professional or security tester. The use cases for Nmap are as varied as they are critical. Network administrators and IT security professionals frequently use Nmap to audit the security of their infrastructure. It plays a vital role in simulated penetration tests and helps in verifying firewall and intrusion detection system configurations. Nmap also aids in mapping entire network topologies, analyzing system responses, identifying open ports, and performing vulnerability assessments. It's a Swiss Army knife for network intelligence and reconnaissance. Let's break down Nmap's architecture to understand how it achieves all this. Nmap provides several scanning techniques that each serve a specific purpose in the enumeration process. These include host discovery, port scanning, service enumeration and detection, operating system detection, and interactive scripting through the Nmap scripting engine. Each of these techniques helps gather detailed intelligence about a target system. The syntax for Nmap is refreshingly simple. It follows this structure. This straightforward syntax belies the tool's powerful capabilities. Nmap supports a variety of scan techniques, each optimized for different use cases. It offers TCP/SYN scans using the SS flag, UDP scans with SU, and various stealth scans designed to detect port states without fully establishing a connection. Host discovery, for example, is achieved using the SN flag, which allows users to identify online hosts without scanning their ports. Depending on whether you're scanning a local or remote network, Nmap adapts by using methods like ARP, ICMP, or TCP to discover live devices. It supports input in the form of IP ranges, subnets, and even host names, providing unmatched flexibility. Port scanning is one of Nmap's most iconic features. While it's tempting to think of ports as either open or closed, real-world scenarios are far more nuanced. An open port means a service is actively listening, whereas a closed port means there is no service running, but it's still reachable. However, firewalls can muddy these waters, making it essential to consider several port states. Nmap identifies 6 different port states: open, closed, filtered, unfiltered, open vertical bar filtered, and closed vertical bar filtered. These classifications are crucial for interpreting results correctly, especially when firewalls or intrusion prevention systems are involved. Among the many scan types Nmap offers, one of the most straightforward is the TCP Connect scan, invoked with the SD flag. This method uses the full TCP three-way handshake to determine if a port is open or closed. If a port responds with a SYN ACK, it's open. If it responds with RST, it's closed. This scan is highly accurate but not stealthy, as it establishes a full connection, which is often logged by the system. It's best used when accuracy is more important than stealth, such as in environments with strict compliance rules or where disruptions must be minimized. In contrast, the SYN scan, triggered with the SS flag, offers a stealthier alternative. Instead of completing the full handshake, it sends a SYN packet and waits for a response. If a SYN ACK is received, the scanner responds with an RST, aborting the connection before it completes. This makes it less likely to be logged, and it's often referred to as a half-open scan. The SYN scan is a favorite among penetration testers for its balance of speed, stealth, and accuracy. UDP scanning, invoked with the SU flag, is another important technique. Unlike TCP, UDP is a stateless protocol and doesn't require a handshake, meaning there's no acknowledgement to confirm that a packet was received. This makes UDP scans inherently slower and more difficult to interpret, but also more valuable, especially since many administrators overlook securing UDP ports. Nmap also supports specialized TCP scans such as null, fin, and Christmas scans. These advanced techniques manipulate TCP flags to evade basic firewall detection. A null scan, selected using SN, sets no TCP flags. If a port is closed, it responds with RST. If there's no response, the port may be open or filtered. A fin scan, using SF, sends a TCP packet with only the fin flag. Closed ports typically respond with RST, while open ones stay silent. The Christmas scan, SX, sets fin, PSH, and URG flags simultaneously, resembling a lit-up packet, and follows similar logic to determine port states. These scans are useful against stateless firewalls but are often blocked by stateful ones. Another powerful scan is the ACK scan, enabled with SU. This scan sends a TCP packet with the ACK flag and checks for a response. It's particularly useful for mapping firewall rules because, in normal TCP behavior, ACK packets are only sent in response to received packets. If a target replies with RST, it may indicate that the firewall is allowing traffic to that port. Another similar scan type offered by Nmap is the TCP window scan, selected using the SW option. The window scan works much like the ACK scan but adds one subtle layer of intelligence. It analyzes the TCP window size field of RST packets returned by the target. On specific systems, the value in this window field can indicate whether a port is open or closed, even when traditional ACK scanning doesn't reveal that information. This scan type is particularly useful in edge cases and when working against certain operating systems that behave in a predictable way in response to TCP flags. If you're feeling experimental or need to bypass customized firewall configurations, Nmap gives you the ability to create your own custom TCP flag combinations using the scan flags option. For instance, if you want to send a packet with SYN, RST, and FIN flags all set simultaneously, you can do this by writing scan flags or SYNFIN. This advanced capability is incredibly useful for researchers, red teamers, and network professionals looking to create new scanning techniques or evade firewalls by crafting non-standard packets. Next up is service enumeration, where we dive deeper into the heart of what makes Nmap truly powerful, discovering what's behind those open ports. It's not enough to know a port is open, we need to know what's running on it, what version it is, and how it might be vulnerable. Let's start with OS detection, which is triggered with the O flag. This instructs Nmap to perform fingerprinting to identify the operating system running on the target machine. It does this by analyzing subtle clues, such as the way the TCP stack behaves, TTL values, window sizes, and more. Although not always perfectly accurate, OS detection is an invaluable tool when you're trying to build a full profile of your target. It can help you tailor your attack or remediation strategy based on whether you're dealing with Windows, Linux, BSD, or something more exotic. Next is version detection, which is a vital follow-up to port scanning. Let's say you've found some open ports, but what's running behind them? Are they running Apache? Ginx? Is it SSH, and if so, which version? With the SV flag, Nmap probes those open ports and attempts to determine not just the service name, but also its version and additional metadata. This is critical for vulnerability assessment because certain versions of services may be known to be exploitable. With just a few keystrokes, you can gather intelligence that might otherwise take hours of manual checking. Sometimes, though, you may run a scan and find that the host does not respond at all during the discovery phase. This doesn't necessarily mean the host is offline, it could be blocking ICMP or other discovery probes. To make sure Nmap scans every host, including those that don't respond during host discovery, you can add the PN flag. This forces Nmap to treat all targets as online and proceed with scanning regardless of their initial response. It's a must-use option when dealing with hardened networks or hosts hiding behind firewalls. Now that we've performed our scans, it's essential to save the results for further analysis or reporting. Nmap supports multiple output formats, each suited for different needs. The normal output is saved with the on option and uses the Nmap file extension. It provides a human-readable summary. The greppable output, with the aug option and Nmap extension, is designed for easy parsing with tools like grep or custom scripts. And the XML output, triggered with aux, creates machine-readable files suitable for importing into other programs. If you want all three at once, simply use OA, and Nmap will save the output in all available formats. Let's now talk about making a scan faster, or slower, depending on your operational needs. Speed matters, especially when you're scanning large networks or trying to avoid detection. Nmap provides 6 timing templates to control scan speed: paranoid, 0, sneaky, 1, polite, 2, normal, 3, aggressive, 4, and insane, 5. You can select a template by its number, like T3 for normal or T5 for insane, or by its name. Slower scans like T0 are useful to evade intrusion detection systems, while faster scans like T5 are ideal for quick assessments when stealth is not a concern. Besides timing templates, Nmap allows you to fine-tune parallelism and packet rates. The options min parallelism and max parallelism control the number of concurrent probes Nmap sends. This is important when scanning unreliable networks. Fewer probes reduce the chance of dropped packets. Conversely, if the network is robust, Nmap will automatically scale up the number of probes. The min rate and max rate flags control the actual rate of packets per second, allowing you to throttle or accelerate your scans based on bandwidth availability or stealth requirements. Finally, the host timeout option sets a maximum time limit for scanning a host, a must-have for skipping slow or unresponsive machines and maintaining overall scan efficiency. When it comes to controlling output, Nmap gives you full control over how much information is displayed and when. The V flag enables verbose output, giving you more real-time feedback about the scan's progress. Want even more detail? Add another V for VV or go up to VVVV for the highest level of verbosity. You can also set levels directly using V2, V3, and so on. Even after starting a scan, you can press the V key to dynamically increase verbosity. If that still isn't enough, Nmap has a debug mode, enabled with D. Just like verbosity, debugging levels can be raised all the way to D9, but beware, this can flood you with thousands of lines of output. Only use high debug levels when you're truly digging deep into the scan's behavior or troubleshooting something specific. One of Nmap's most powerful and advanced features is the Nmap Scripting Engine, NSE. This transforms Nmap from a scanner into a full-fledged reconnaissance and exploitation framework. The NSE allows users to run Lua-based scripts for tasks like vulnerability scanning, brute force attacks, network discovery, service enumeration, and more. The SC flag enables a default set of safe and useful scripts, but you can also specify categories such as vuln, auth, discovery, and others. With NSE, you can not only identify an open port, but determine if the service behind it is misconfigured, outdated, or even already compromised. Next, let's explore traceroute, a feature that reveals the path your packets take to reach a target. You can enable it with traceroute. Unlike the standard traceroute command in Linux or traceroute on Windows, which starts with a low TTL and increments it, Nmap's traceroute uses the opposite approach. It begins with a high TTL and decreases it until it reaches the target. This behavior can sometimes help bypass middle boxes or provide more accurate information in certain scenarios. Understanding firewall detection is also crucial. Firewalls filter or block traffic based on specific rules, often resulting in ports being reported as filtered, meaning Nmap receives no response or an ICMP error like host unreachable. Nmap's ACK scan, SA, is especially useful in detecting firewalls, since it often bypasses filters that block SYN packets. Additionally, Nmap supports a suite of evasion techniques including packet fragmentation, decoys using the D flag, source IP spoofing with S, and custom source ports, such as port 53. Decoy scanning masks your real IP among fake ones, confusing intrusion detection systems. Using trusted ports, like TCP/53, or alternative VPS IPs can also help in evading detection and testing firewall behavior without tipping off defenders. If you want to know why Nmap made a certain decision, such as why it marked a port as open or a host as up, you can use the reason flag. This instructs Nmap to provide the exact reason for each of its conclusions. It's a great tool for understanding how Nmap interprets the responses it receives, and it can help in validating scan results or debugging unexpected behavior. Reverse DNS lookups can also reveal valuable information. By default, Nmap performs reverse DNS lookups on online hosts, which can reveal host names and organizational info. However, if you want to skip DNS resolution for privacy or speed reasons, you can add the N flag. On the flip side, if you want to force DNS queries even for hosts that appear offline, use the R option. And if you prefer using a specific DNS server, you can specify it with DNS server's DNS_server. One last, very important note: for best results, always run Nmap with sudo privileges. Many of Nmap's features, like SYN scanning, OS detection, and custom packet crafting, require root access. If you run Nmap as a regular user, it will fall back to limited scan types like connect scans, missing out on many powerful capabilities. In contrast, with root privileges, Nmap becomes a full-powered engine capable of raw socket manipulation and accurate network reconnaissance. That's all for today, folks. Keep learning.